A former corrections officer ends up on the wrong side of the law. Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Sonia Shrivastava.
And I'm Makia Turner. Thank you for joining us. A former deputy sheriff pleads guilty to 1 count of correctional officer sex with an inmate and 1 count of misconduct in office. 32-year-old Lamar McIntyre could face up to 3 years behind bars, but prosecutors say the state agreed to request a maximum sentence of 18 months. Officials say McIntyre allegedly had consensual sex with an inmate in a holding cell at the county's courthouse in Upper Marlboro last June. The victim told staff members at the Department of Corrections after the incident.
We're happy to see this come to an end. We're certainly happy to get the plea and happy that Mr. McIntyre is accepting responsibility for his actions. When someone takes an oath of office as a law enforcement officer, they take an oath to protect and serve, and not just protect and serve those who are out and about in our neighborhoods and our communities, but also protect and serve those who are in our custody. And in this instance, Mr. McIntyre, he violated that oath and he violated the trust that was put in him.
The Sheriff's Department declined to give comments about the case. A spokesperson noted that McIntyre retired before the case even began. McIntyre will be sentenced in January of 2014.
Attorney General Doug Gansler's recorded remarks regarding Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown draws more fallout. Last month, Gansler told a group of supporters that Brown has few accomplishments and is relying on his ethnicity to win the 2014 primary. David Harrington, president of the Prince George's Chamber of Commerce, says Gansler's comments on race may come back to haunt him when he officially announces his bid for governor.
Do you think that he's going to be accused of making his lieutenant governor a token candidate because of his comments?
I think that's a great question, and that's what they're going to have to speak to. You know, are you a token candidate in light of what you just said? And they're going to have to speak to, no, I'm not a token candidate. This is what I bring to the ticket, and we intend to win. So it really is a distraction. I don't think it's going to mean anything in the race itself or the outcome of the race, but it's something that he's going to have to deal with for the time being.
Harrington says he thinks Gansler will try to bring in female voters with his choice for a running mate.
I don't know about who he might name. I think he has said that he's going to select an African-American from either Baltimore or Prince George's. I think he will do that. I think it's going to be an African-American woman. I mean, I think if you look at the demographics, for example, in Prince George's, over 50% of the population in Prince George's are African-American women. So I think that I would not be surprised if it's an African-American woman from either Prince George's or Baltimore.
The comments were captured in a July 15th recording of a meeting with prospective campaign volunteers in Annapolis. Well, if you have a cell phone or any other electronic device, you'll want to listen up to this next story.
That's right. The number of devices stolen from passengers on Metro has increased by 48%, and police are warning you to be extra careful. Our Denise Douglas joins us with all the details. Denise?
Well, ladies, if you've got one of these,
got both of them.
Got to hold on to them, especially if you're going to be taking Metro. These criminals in these cases literally snatch cell phones and tablets and other high-priced electronic devices right out of the hands of passengers. Tonight, Metro police say it's a disturbing trend. In fact, you're going to see surveillance video of a young male snatching a man's phone at the Capitol Heights Metro Center. 40 devices were taken from riders in a 2-week period that ended August 7th, compared with 27 the previous 2 weeks. Metro's police chief says most of the incidents happen on the trains and that women are most often the victims.
The crimes are spread throughout. If I had to try to limit down geographically, I would say it's more prevalent on our rail system. About 87% of our robberies or theft snatches are occurring on our rail system, and another 13% or so are happening on our bus lines. So geographically, it's happening more in the District of Columbia and Prince George's County. And the second part, as far as the trend goes, it's hard to say if there's, as the other reporter mentioned, what caused the spike. It's really unknown at this time. It's something of concern, and that's why we're here today. We want to just remind our customers how important it is to pay attention to their surroundings. And like I try to illustrate, where I wouldn't walk around a system or out in public, no matter what the venue is, with $400 in cash in my hand, but that's essentially what you're doing with that same electronic device.
In terms of protecting yourself, the chief says be aware of your surroundings, hold the device with both hands, and put a tracking app on your electronic device. And something else, don't use it like close to an escalator or the opening of either the metro bus or the train, you know, giving those folks a chance to get away with it.
Well, yeah, if you look at that video, it is just brazen the way they just took it and just sort of snatched it and ran away. I mean, these guys aren't, and they're doing it in daylight.
Exactly, it really is, but police say that they have been able to catch them, and so if this happens to you or if you see it, don't chase the people, just simply call police and give a description. That'll help the cops track down whoever's doing this.
All right, great advice. Thank you, Denise. Food donations to area programs that help feed the needy are down, and coordinators like Glenn Holland need your help. Holland is the pastor at the Beltsville Seventh-day Adventist Church and serves as director for its community center. He says his church has come out of pocket to fill the pantry for families who depend on it. The church has had to squeeze $20,000 into next year's budget to keep the service going. Holland says they need help.
I think people tend to think that donations are needed around Thanksgiving and Christmas, and people get hungry throughout the whole year, and so we're trying to take care of those needs throughout the year, and summer seems to be the time that donations are really low. We'll see between 8-10 families often on Tuesdays and Wednesdays each day, and those may be representing a family of 1 or 2, or they may be a family of 5 or 6 or more.
What types of donations are you looking for?
Oh, it's all kinds of things. It's things that you don't normally think about as needed in a food pantry. We tend to think about peanut butter and jelly and that sort of thing, and that's certainly helpful. People don't tend to think about things like diapers, things like soap and seasonings and things that, whatever you need in your home kitchen, basically we need in a food pantry.
The program was established about a year ago, and Holland says the demand keeps growing. Anyone who would like to volunteer or make a food donation can call 301-937-8118.